thought that was a bite, but I think that is a bite. Oh, yeah. That's a bream, I think. Yeah, quite a battling bream, really. Oh wow, fairly early success, folks. There's a lot of bream in here actually, so it's not surprising the first fish is a bream. Hi, I'm back at Earith today, hoping for some tench, or at least a tench. This is my 4th trip this spring, and in the previous 3 I only managed 1 small tench, so this is one more attempt before the rivers open again. There's nobody here today, I've got the lake to myself, but nonetheless I've walked round the back. I like this bit round the back, it's very secluded, very quiet, and if anybody else turns up they're more than likely to fish the main bit of the lake earlier on, so hopefully a very quiet day today. I brought a ledger rod today, didn't bring the float because it's been very blustery the last few days, but in fact it's not too bad here at the moment. There is a bit of a breeze, but I probably could have got away with a float, but anyway, I decided on the ledger, and consequently it's a slightly heftier rod than I normally use, £1.75 test curve and 8 pound line, because I'm fishing in a fairly tight spot here, and even tench are going to give me some challenges, but if I get into a carp it's going to be another story entirely. Anyway, I'm going to ground bait up, and I bought some ground bait which makes a change for me. I usually just throw in a few loose offerings, so to speak. Anyway, I won't rattle on anymore. The sun's gone in for a while, but it was quite warm. I didn't know what to put on today because the forecast was very, very mixed. They were sort of talking about 18 degrees, which isn't particularly hot. But the rest of this week is Monday today, and the rest of this week really doesn't look very clever at all. So I'm taking my chances today. Right then, let's get going and see what happens, shall we? I bought some ground bait today, which is somewhat unusual for me. I had this left over from last season, but I've got this, and I put a bit of this in, which is obviously a proprietary mix. But what I did yesterday was to mash up some bread crusts that were left over at home. And I found in the garage, I was having a bit of a sort out in the garage, and I found a bag of 4mm carp pellets from some previous sort of fishing expedition, probably many years ago, because I never really used pellets. I don't know why I ever bought them, but these are only diddy ones. So that's mixed in with some bread, and I bought some sweet corn and hemp, so I'll mix a bit of that in, which is just over there. I'm going to get it. I had a lot in my bag today, so instead of bringing tins, I emptied the sweet corn and hemp into some sealable zipper bags. So that's a bit of hemp in there. And a bit of sweet corn. Not a lot, just enough to get them interested in that bait. Right, let's mix this up. Brought my trusty little ladle with me so I don't have to bend down too far to get in the water. Still a bit dry in places, Be careful not to put too much in though. Right. Now, I've foregone my float rod today. I bought a ledger because it's been a bit blustery. There's a bit of plastic in there. Don't know how that got in there, I'm sure. I'll sort that out in a minute. Get off. Yeah, but I bought a ledger, but as I say, I've foregone my float rod. But having said that, I'm only going to be ledgering a very short distance out. The reason I didn't bring the float rod today was it's been a very blustery few days. And as it is, this is quite calm, but I was worried it was going to be a bit difficult for float fishing, but I may have got that wrong. But it don't hurt to bring the ledger for a change. I'm going to start off with bread. I've only really bought bread and corn, and I bought corn really as a bit of a mixer for the ground bait, so it's either bread or corn today. But bread's normally quite a good bait for this lake. As I say, I got a bit beefier rod than I normally use. Normally using a float rod, and as you saw, I ground baited up that area over there, sort of by the lilies and the reeds. It looks absolutely perfect, really. But something just rose over there. But I was fishing the same spot last time on the float, and to be honest, and on the ledger. I tried a ledger after that, and I got one bream, but the action wasn't really very exciting. So let's see what happens today. Yeah, the weather forecast is for sort of bright spells in between cloud and potentially possibly a bit of rain. I did cart my umbrella around with me today, which I don't usually take an umbrella. My umbrella's years old. It's not completely antiquated. It's aluminium pole and that, but all the bracing struts are metal, whereas I think the modern ones tend to use carbon and that to make them a bit lighter. So it's a bit of a weight to carry, but I brought it with me just in case. I've actually got the original umbrella I bought as a teenager. I keep it sort of, it's in the garage, I never use it, but anyone who's sort of as old as me or that sort of era will remember sort of wooden poles and a very crude sort of tilt clamp that you slid up and down the poles, and yeah, I used to take that with me every time I went out when I was younger. It's in the garage. I keep it just for sort of I don't know, sort of a memory of those times, really. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. I put quite a bit of ground bait out there, so they might be interested in my bait at the moment. Yeah, it's very quiet here today. Last time I came there were a few guys here, but I think they came as a group rather than all independently turning up, so to speak. Yeah, I've had three trips here previously this season, this year, this spring really. I only tend to fish it in the spring or something's interesting, and they've been quite challenging really. And if you compare them to some of the sessions I had last year, when I did a lot better, I caught quite a few bream, tench, carp, but this year has been very challenging. I think that might be the case in other places as well, from what I see on the social media. Oh well, it's a little bit of movement, but nothing happened. The thing with bread is they could have helped themselves to it. Something having interest. Got a different bobbin today. I haven't got my piece of cork. I had a rummage through the garage yesterday. I have old sort of bits of tackle in boxes, things we collect as anglers. It's unbelievable. And I found this in a box, so I thought I'd give it a try. Nice and light. It's a very light bobbin, so hopefully it won't offer too much resistance. I think that may be some small rudd or something just nibbling at the edge of the bread. Normally if it's a bream they often cause a drop back bite, and if not, a fairly positive pull up. Tench are usually fairly positive, and carp obviously just go. I come to this lake really because it's got a good head of tench. It's not out and out carp. It's obviously a commercial in the strictest sense of the word, but it's a sort of very relaxed commercial. It's very picturesque, it's very mature. No platforms, none of that nonsense. Fishing from a natural bank. I just like it. I like the ambience of the place. And in the past I've caught quite well, but this year's been much more challenging. Anyway, I'll come back to you if anything more positive happens. Something's really having a go at the bobbin now, much more positive. I'm hoping it'll... Oh, I thought I may hook that one because it dropped back, and that's characteristic of the bream, but it didn't happen. Still, it was worth putting the video back on because it had all the indications of a proper bite, as they say. Which is good news. I've only got a 10 hook on, I've not got a massive hook on. So I'm putting on fairly small bits of bread. Yeah, it's the sort of spot this you sort of don't mind sitting here all day, even if you're not catching fish really. It's sort of really quite idyllic. I seem to have lost my bobbin. Oh no, there it is. It's wrapped itself around the rod rest. Yeah, that was a very positive sort of bite, albeit not positive enough to hit, but it's encouraging. Yeah, that breeze is coming up now. I had a jumper on when I arrived, and I might need to put it back on during the day, but it's I thought that was a bite, but I think that is a bite. Oh, yeah. That's a bream, I think. Yeah, quite a battling bream really. Oh wow, fairly early success, folks. There's a lot of bream in here actually, so it's not surprising the first fish is a bream. Oh, the line's caught in there. Right, I think the hook's come out actually, or whether that one. We'll have a look. Weights are all caught up in the net, which is not good news. I'll sort that out later. Let's see if I get the fish sorted out first. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh dear, you've pulled the hook back through your line. Okay. Yeah, well that's alright. Alright, let's got that out. So, first success of the day, very slimy bream. Oh, it's so difficult to hold, they're so slimy. Well, I think you can see him though, can't you? Alright, we'll put him back in, shall we? I'll get my towel so I can get this off my hands before I pick the landing down. Right, let's put you in over here so you don't disturb the rest of the babies. I got all the slime on the line as well. Oh, that was a slimy experience, that wasn't it? Oh, Jesus, crikey. Yeah. Right, let's wait for the next one, hopefully. Actually got here a bit earlier today. Woke up early, so I left early. Mind you, in fishing terms, it wasn't that early. It was about 8:30 I got here, which is about an hour earlier than I normally arrive at places. So, yeah, I just hope there's some tench moving around. I mean, say I've never had sort of big catches of tench from here, but I've caught tench on most occasions, except this year. And hopefully, with it being a bit more overcast today, give me a bit more of a chance. There's lots of bubbles coming up out there where I put all the ground bait, so they could be bream, of course, not necessarily tench. I bought some actually luncheon meat as well. I didn't mention that earlier. I'd put what I had last time in the freezer, so I've got some luncheon meat as another option. We'll stick with bread for a while. There's a little bit of movement then on the bobbin, so I've just switched on the video just in case it's going to develop into something a bit more positive. Oh, how did I miss that? That was going up smoothly, wasn't it? How did I miss that? Oh well, we're getting bites, that's all that matters, I suppose. Yeah, that bobbin's just going up as smooth as anything. Oh well. At least I didn't nick it and spook it, hopefully. Try and get the hook point a little bit more visible. Yeah, the rest of this week looks like it's going to be a bit unsettled. So this seemed to be a good day to come out. It's the advantage of being retired, you can come out when you feel like you come out rather than being restricted. Oh, this little bobbin that I must have bought some years ago somewhere seems to be doing the job. It's very light, so hopefully the fish don't feel too much resistance, other than the line obviously and the weights on the line. I'm not sure I'll be doing any more lake fishing after this prior to the beginning of the river season, because I want to spend a bit of time going out looking at some river venues, seeing how they're shaping up now that nature's sort of taking hold. Oh, there's a little knock. It's dropped right down again, but no, I'll have to wait, I'll have to leave it, not strike on the drop, because I'm not making contact. I'll leave it and see what happens next time. Well, there's no bread on the hook, so leaving it might have not achieved anything. There's no bread there. Anyway, we're getting quite a few bites, so won't be bad. Yeah, it's absolutely idyllic here at the moment. It's, only unfortunate thing is when I arrived, there were a family of moorhens, obviously occupying this little bit of land here. Oh, did you see that go up? Busy talking to you and I missed it. Jesus, that really went. Gosh, it didn't hesitate, it just flew off. Oh, I bet I missed something good there, I think. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, Robert. Pay attention. Yeah, what I was saying, there was a family of moorhens here when I arrived, and little tiny chicks, they were really small little chickies, and they all went skedoodling off when I arrived, and the moorhen was making a hell of a racket, so telling me to get lost. A bit sad disturbing them really. But, right, well that was a good bite. I missed it. Mind you, I hit it on the rise, so I don't know why I missed it, but there we go. It's difficult to explain sometimes, fishing. I hit it as the bobbin was on the rise. Oh, Jesus, I hit that one and it came off, and it didn't feel like a bream. It went for the reeds. I just switched the camera on as I hooked it, so you didn't see much of that, I'm afraid. But and then again, it was a bite that took the bobbin straight up. Well, the hook's sharp enough, so it just wasn't hooked cleanly enough. Dear. Yeah, it went for the lilies, which is not normally bream behaviour. Oh well, keep trying, but I'm a bit worried now because I spooked that one. Anyway, we're getting a bite of cast, so I can't complain really. Yeah, I turned the GoPro off and I sort of turned it on again, but all you saw, I think, well, you'll know by now by the time you're listening to this, but all you saw was the rod bent over for a few seconds before it went slack. Dear. Fisherman's nightmare. Oh, idiot. I don't think it was a carp, it didn't feel powerful enough. Could have been something like a crucian, I suppose. But it didn't behave quite like the bream do. The bream tend to be sort of a bit dogged rather than tearing off. But that really shot off into the lilies. There's always a problem when you're filming fishing. You can't leave the video going all the time. I mean, say even if you had enough battery power and storage for that much video, it would be an enormous task to edit it all and get it down to a sensible length for a YouTube video. So inevitably, sometimes when you switch the video off, things happen. If you get a little bit of indication before, like a tremor on the bobbin, you can switch it on. But that did none of that, it just went straight up, vroom. but hopefully, as I say, it went shooting into those lilies. If it kept going that way, it was gone away from the swim. So. Right, so I'm going to switch it off again, which probably means I'll get another bite, but I'll come back if I do. It's gone a bit quiet after hooking that fish and losing it, or it coming off rather than losing it. What I might do, if nothing happens for a while, I did put some ground bait down by these lilies just in front of me. Now, last year, I think it might have been the year before, I fished this swim, and I float fished just over those lilies. It's quite deep, just over the edge, and I caught tench, I seem to remember. I'm not sure how many, probably may have only been one, but I did catch a tench. So if it's gone a bit quiet out there after that, I may put a bit more ground bait out there. Oh, having said that, the bobbin's just done a bit of movement. I might try putting a near side line just down in margin effectively, or just on the outside of these lilies here. No, I thought something was happening, but it might have just been a line bite. I'm not sure if you saw that bird dive down there. I think the camera had started, but I didn't see anything in its beak after when it left, so whether it got what it was after, I don't know. Anyway, I didn't get a touch down the edge there, so I'm put sweet corn on. I'm going back out where I was before, but with 2 grains of sweet corn on. See if that produces anything. Lots of big plops here, there and everywhere. I don't know if that's the carp. There's a guy turned up on the main bit of the lake. I'm not on my own anymore, but he's a long way away. Looking at the size of the net, I think it was fairly clear what he was after. The bobbin's now going up. Oh. Right, we're into it, and it tried to get in the leads. Oh, the sweet corn worked. God, this has got quite a bit of warmth in it. I don't think somehow that it's a bream. Can I keep it out? I'm not sure I can. Oh, Jesus. This may even be our target species, folks. Yeah, it's no bream, it's fighting two. Jesus. Oh no, that's not a bream, is it? God, Jesus. Trying to keep it out of the weeds. I'm grateful for having this beefier rod today. Oh, you bugger. Too much pressure. Too much pressure. Oh, what a bore. What a bore. Pushed him too hard. I think that might have been a good tench. It may have been a carp, I couldn't really see. I don't know. Well, that's not much fun, is it really? After all that effort. Yeah, I think I was just a bit too bullying in the end. because I had a more powerful rod, I thought I could bully him a bit, but that was a mistake. Obviously the hook's in perfect nick, it hasn't straightened or anything, it just pulled out. Well folks, bit of action anyway. Dear. Yeah, I only got one clear view of that. Clear, that's an optimistic view. Or an optimistic thought. Yeah, it came right out of the water at one point and turned. It looked like it could have been a tench. There was certainly some olive green there. But on the other hand, it could have been a mirror carp, I suppose. But I got the feeling it wasn't quite powerful enough for a carp. I was muscling it out of things, whereas a carp might have been a bit more insistent. So I think that was a good tench, and unfortunately, target species, and I lost it. That was a bit sad. There we go. But yeah, I changed to sweet corn. I'm back on sweet corn again, so that's interesting. Yeah, the fact I managed to get it out of the reeds over there and get it out of these lilies down here a couple of times, I'm not sure it was a carp, but I think it might have been a nice tench. So a bit sad really. Ah dear. So that's 2 fish lost now. The first one was only on for a very short time, but that one I really thought I thought I was getting to the point where I could get it in, and I should have let it go. It was going more towards open water. I should have just let it tire itself out of it. Instead I tried to turn it one more time and paid the price really. There we go. Mind you, if the hook hold was that precarious, then probably it would have lunged a couple of times when I tried to net it. It probably would have come off then, which would have been even more disappointing. I brought my brolly in case it rained, but I was getting so hot in that sun that I've actually put it up to keep the sun off me. Having done that, a big clouds now appeared. But when I was looking up before I put the brolly up, it seemed to be clear blue sky for quite a long way. So anyway, it's up now. So I don't like fishing from under a brolly; it's a bit restrictive. But anyway, I've put the luncheon meat back out there, and there's a carp sort of under the lilies out there. Unbelievable. Yeah, I've instead of putting it in where I put the ground bait, I've just moved it over to sort of almost directly in front of me, but on the edge of the lilies. Some bubbles just came up just in front of me. I'm sure there's fish down there. It's just tempting them at the moment. It seems to be the story of the year so far. Yeah. I think I moved my camera when I was mucking about getting the brolly out, so I'm not sure what view you're getting at the moment, but hopefully it's alright. Yeah, bubbles coming up, which is always a good sign. And they're coming up over where I put the ground bait in. Oh, well, I'll leave this out there for a while, see if anything happens. If not, I'll go back to my ground baited patch and perhaps go back to bread. The corn worked almost immediately when I put it out. First time I tried it, but then it sort of didn't produce anything else. I mixed some more corn into the end of the ground bait there. I'm not sure I'll put any more ground bait out, but part of what I put out was mashed, well, it was crumbed bread, so I may use that up because it won't keep. But obviously the proprietary ground bait will keep. Yeah. It's quite a long period of no sun now, which is good. Certainly get warm in that sun in June. I was lucky I found someone else had made a hole in the ground that I could put my pole in. I'm not sure I would have got it in this ground, it looks pretty hard. You wouldn't believe it, but look at these reeds moving down here, literally under my feet. There is something rooting around, look, you can see it. Well, I think you can see it anyway, I've been forward a bit just in case. But there is something knocking these reeds quite violently. There's probably a carp down there, literally 2 foot out from the bank. There's me ledgering over by the lily pads. Unbelievable. I'm tempted to drop the bait down there and see what happens. There's a carp out there. The trouble is, I'm not sure what form of seabirds they are, but they're taking everything off the surface, so I don't think I can chance putting bread on the surface. But I've put a fairly big bit of flake on, which might prove to be attractive on the bottom. The other guy who was fishing over on the main lake has just packed up. He could have only been there a couple of hours. He had a lot of gear as well. In fact, he backed his van all the way down to the bank to pack it all in. He seemed to have a cradle as well, you know, for putting the big fish in, so he obviously decided nothing was doing, so yeah, there's a carp on the surface out there, but I think they're just on the surface. Oh, I don't know. Something's having a go at that. No, I'm not going to hit it. Oh, how did I miss that? Oh, right, we'll try again. This bloody umbrella's in the way, but it's too hot not to have it, I'm afraid. I suffered last time from sitting in the sun too long. Right, let's put another big lump of bream out here. It's big enough to attract something, obviously. Whether it was what I'm after or not, I don't know. Yeah, they're just swimming around. They did this last time. I don't know, you can probably see him. He's just out here. He's gone down. Well, if he's going down, that's good news. Oh, Jesus. Oh, this is getting a bit bloody annoying. This is fish coming off. I don't know what that was. It's difficult to know. It was only on for seconds. Well, I finally hit one of these bites. I don't know what it is. I'm trying not to be too brutal this time, but I think it might be a bream. It's not got the same sort of power as the one I lost earlier. Yeah, I think it's a bream, yeah. At least we hit one. There we go. one of those fiddly bites again. No, you stay still. Oh my God. Make a terrible mess of my landing net. Oh, for Christ's sake. Get a bloody hook in you if you're not careful. Oh, Jesus. I'm not sure I'm going to get my target species today. The quest for tench. Yeah, there's a lot of tench in here, but I think the fish that I pulled out of, the one that gave me a bit of a tussle, not the other ones that sort of came off almost immediately, but that one I had on for a while. I can't be 100% sure, but I think that was a decent tench. It didn't seem to have the power of a carp, but it had quite a lot of oomph in it, so I think that was my target species, I'm afraid, and I'm not sure I'm going to get another chance. Oh well. Actually, I may put another bit of luncheon meat on for a change. Don't know what happened to me luncheon meat, but so many baits down here at the moment. No, there we go. Right. Too big a bit. Give a chance to something other than a carp taking it. Let's go a bit nearer the lilies, I think. Right, at least the small fish don't seem to be able to get the luncheon meat off. They nibble around the edges of it, but if anything happens, I'll obviously let you know. Well, that was a disaster. My umbrella got my umbrella got caught in the wind. I turned round to try to stop it blowing away, and the rod nearly went in water. And as you can see, it was a carp. But at the time I got to it, of course, it had buried itself. Oh Jesus, one of those days, isn't it? I think I lost everything. Yeah, I did. Jesus wept. Yeah. It's obviously broke the line, hasn't it? Jesus. That was obviously a big carp. As I say, he took my rod in. Yeah, the umbrella swiveled round in the wind, and I turned round, and the next minute the rod was sort of out of the rest. Jesus Christ! What a day! What a day! Well, I've lost everything. Okay, well, just about recovered my composure after that. That was an absolute classic, wasn't it, really? The umbrella got caught, the wind, there was a gust of wind. There hasn't been much wind today, but there was a gust of wind, and it just swiveled around a bit. So I turned round just to turn it back round the right way, and I heard something behind me, and I turned round, the rod was already in the water. I mean, say, in that few seconds I turned round, the carp had taken that luncheon meat and gone ploughing into those reeds. Of course, by the time I picked the rod up, he or she was well in there. There was no way I was going to get it out. And that's the only danger with luncheon meat. I won't put any more on because it does attract the carp. And although I don't mind catching carp, there's some really big ones in here and fishing right next to the reeds. I really want a tench or two, but I'm not going to get them, I don't think. Anyway, so I've retackled. I did have a sliding bead on there with a link so I could change to a feeder if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. So all I've done is just put a single shot on and a float stop. And I've gone up to an 8 hook with the bread, which I think will work better with the bread, to be honest. Yeah, oh Jesus. You can see how people lose rods, can't you? So obviously I've got no, because it's not carp gear, so I've got no attachments to the rod. It's just sitting in the rod rest. Yeah, okay. Well, that was very exciting. It was quite frightening, really, but there was no way I was going to get it out on it. Unfortunately, I think the reeds must have abraded the line because it obviously broke above the ledger stop. So, but it was a sliding rig, so it'll all fall off. But the carp may have the hook in its mouth until it can manage to lose it. Well, it's 3 o'clock and I'm going to pack up soon. Not much happening really. Bread and sweet corn. I just getting these nibbles, and when I bring the bait back in, the bread is reduced to next to nothing, and the sweet corn is often missing. So I think we just got Rudd down there playing around with the bait. The bream, the sun's come out. It's been out for a while now, quite bright. The bream have gone off the feed, I think. Still something playing with my sweet corn down there, but not a proper bite. I don't know, it's pulling it a bit. But I think I've blown it for as far as the tench is concerned. I think that fish I lost earlier on after playing it for a while was probably a tench, and that was my chance. Couple of bream, so it's not a blank, and a couple of other fish on and off, and a carp that nearly took my rod. It could be a bream actually, because that bobbin's dropping back, and that's often characteristic of the bream. But I'm not going to strike on it until something more positive happens. It's dropping down. Well, it could be the small fish just dragging the bait along and shifting. I've only got a single shot on there now, so it could be just shifting the ledge away. But I don't think it's anything of importance. Yeah, a bit of disappointment really. I mean, it's a lovely place again. I love fishing here, and it's been so quiet. I've been the only one here all day, bar for a couple of hours when a chap over there fished for a couple of hours. He didn't stay long. I assume it was a lunchtime session. Yeah, been great really. I always enjoy being here. But once again, the tench have eluded me. Well, that's it for today. Bit disappointing again actually, very eventful, but not in terms of too many fish on the bank. Couple of bream, avoided the blank. Couple of fish came off soon after they were hooked, and the real big disappointment was what I was sure was a tench, which I had on for quite a while. Yeah, the hook pulled, so yeah, that was really disappointing. It was my own fault. I've got a slightly more powerful rod today than I usually use, and I was sort of muscling it a bit, a bit too much really. Also, I also find when I've got my centre pin reel, I can control the tension a lot better than I can on a fixed ball. I probably would have felt that it was getting a bit too heavy. But there we go, lost it. So, and then of course, nearly lost my rod. I literally turned around for a few seconds just to stop my umbrella from swivelling round, and I looked back and the rod was nearly in the water, and that was a carp, obviously. By the time I got hold of the rod, it was well in the reeds and I was never going to get it out, but I don't think I would have landed it anyway. It felt quite powerful really. To take the rod in the water it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I'm not sure I will do any more lake fishing now before the river season opens. I'm going to probably spend a bit of time going out looking at a few streams and just sort of seeing what they look like now nature's sort of in full fledge, so to speak. They look a lot different to what they did in the autumn and winter. So yeah, so may not go to a lake now until the river season opens. That's 2 weeks today, in fact. So unless I sort of just get frustrated and go out anyway, but I probably won't. So perhaps the next time you see me, it'll be on a stream or a river somewhere, and we'll see how we get on. Normally the rivers are a lot more challenging than the lakes, so this does not bode well really, but there we go. So thanks for watching as always, thanks for the likes, thanks for to the subscribers. I mentioned last time I was nudging 900, I'm now over 900, so yeah, creeping up. Yeah, so thanks a lot, and until the next time, it's bye for now and cheers.